and you're seeing black men aren't as, quote, excited or fired up for you. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's not my experience.
Okay.
One, that's not my experience. Two, election day has not arrived yet.
Okay.
And the third point that is probably the most important point is this. When journalists ask me this question, I often will say to them that let's be clear that your underlying premise is not an assumption that I'm supposed to have black men in my back pocket in terms of their vote.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And that I should be taking that for granted, because I don't. Black men are no different from anybody else. They expect that you have to earn their vote. And that's why I'm out here doing the work that I'm doing about talking with folks, listening with folks, because I'm running for president of the United States. I know the power that people have
faces she makes, man, are
to make a difference. And I respect that power. And I am out here doing the work of earning then the vote so that we can get to the job of continuing to move forward. And for me, that is about pushing for an opportunity economy, which is about tapping into the ambitions and the aspirations of folks and doing the work of investing in community, investing in industries, strengthening our economy, and giving people dignity in the process.
All right, guys. What is up? We're back with just the guys. I got my guys with me. We're about to chop it up a little bit. So sit back and relax. We're about to get right into this. How you guys doing tonight, guys?
Doing good.
Good evening.
I'm good, man.
That's what up. That's what's up. Guys, so make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button at Just the Guys podcast. We're here on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. And just, again, we're building a community of shared values. Just a couple of fellas hanging out, talking about the issues that matter today. So we got Kamala talking about some stuff, and then she's trying to win back over, I guess, the black vote. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff come out, over the past couple of weeks, couple of days, and it seems like she's really trying to make a push for black men. How did we get to this point? CT, I want you to kind of just kick us off. Like, why is she now trying to go after black men?
Man, it's a multiplicity of reasons, man. I don't even know where to start. She's lost the confidence of her own party. Obama and Biden's gaffe at who's that funeral?
Shriver, the Kennedy funeral.
Kennedy's mother, Robert F. Kennedy's mother. The gaffe at the funeral proves it. If I'm not mistaken, a New York Post. Someone who could read lips was brought in to and read the lips of Obama and the Biden's discussion or whatnot. It's a last ditch effort. I don't believe that the Democratic Party is capable nor strong enough to go into November with good numbers. You don't have the support of black women. You see, for the first time in a long time, even on Twitter, if people use Twitter as an indicator, Twitter has ample amount of videos of black women who are condemning and basically saying they would never vote for Kamala. You don't really have that same juice right now. And I guess the last ditch effort would be to try to get the black male vote, which has always been a hard vote to get anyway. A lot of black men don't vote or have not voted. And you see a lot of black men typically vote or have typically voted in the way of the cooch. If I could say cooch over here. It's typically voted in the way of the cooch. And now you see that a lot of women are pro-Trump. A lot of men, black men,
black women.
black women. Oh yeah, you see a lot of black women who are pro-Trump now. At least I've seen it on Twitter.
Me too.
And I use Twitter as an indicator.
Gotcha.
And you see a lot of black men are very politically inclined now. You know, you have more access to information. It becomes more personal now, and they see the writing on the wall. What black men represent, what, a 3% voting block, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 18 days away, man, and I see a panic here. So
yeah, well, voting's already started. I want to get Chadwick in here. I'm sorry, Reason. I want to get Reason in here because, like, what is it that really black men want, right? Kamala announced a plan, and we'll kind of go through that in a moment. But what is it that black men want in particular?
Well, if we're talking about something that has to do with economics, we're a capitalist society. We want not to be treated like victims. We want to just do what we have to do, and just build families and feel like we're wanted by the women of our culture. There's a lot of different things that we want, but having to do with what you were originally talking about, I really don't think Kamala cares about the black vote, the black male vote. I really don't think she does at all. Out of all of the things that you see on Twitter, so to speak, quite frankly, the majority of black women are still going to vote for Kamala. And I think that she understands that if I at least make an effort to say that I'm going after or showing that I care about black men, I'm getting the rest of those votes, or I'm bringing in the people who are not actually, who are for my camp, but I'm still trying to get them to get out and vote. And if I show that or pretend to show that I have an interest in black men, that's how I'm going to get the rest of those people.
So Tyrone, now we saw the opening clip, Kamala, I guess, rambling on about what she's going to do. Did anything she said there, did it help move the needle? Is this of interest to, male voters, black male voters, or whomever?
Well, she didn't say anything. She just does what she always does and strung a bunch of words together, some of them multisyllabic, which is good for her. But she is desperate. Her internal polling, she knows she's in trouble. Okay? She prioritizes black men. It's a lie, because you came up with this so-called strategy very late in the game. Okay, initially her strategy to win black votes was putting a twerking rapper on stage, saying that she cooked collard greens in the bathtub. Okay, trying to put on the black affectation. You better thank a union member. That bullshit. Okay, that was her strategy. Okay, and here's where she miscalculated. Baby boomer blacks, they got you. Okay, especially you'll find most of the pushback on why black men aren't voting for Kamala. Most of that pushback is coming from, or a lot of that pushback is coming from baby boomer black males with a strong case of chronic vaginitis. Okay. So this is no strategy. This is a bunch of BS. She's losing. She knows it. Okay. And one more thing. When Clinton came out and said, you should have secured the border. You saw him do that. You saw Biden have DeSantis's back, and you saw Obama chastise black men. All in the space of 1 week, you had 3 former presidents, political animals, one and all. Those weren't mistakes. They don't want her in the White House. And they damn sure don't want to put Gavin Newsom in a position where he has to challenge the first black female president for the nomination of the Democrat Party.
You really think they don't want her in
They don't want her in the White House. They're willing to do a 4-year L.
No way. Like, don't you know the funniest thing about this whole thing with the lip reading and whatever? Before that ever happened, before that article, they had AI generate something of those three of them talking. And they basically, the AI generation is the same thing of, like, it's the same conversation. The AI generated is like, oh yeah, let me run. Nah, you can't run. You're just as bad as she is, whatever, right? And the conversation is basically the same conversation.
Right.
With the
ramblings of an infirmed elderly man.
Yeah.
A president, Barack Obama, who is just, yeah, Joe, whatever. Okay, yeah. We can go get ice cream after this. Yeah. That's what you saw. Okay.
Man, all right. So I kind of want to go back to this kind of attracting black voters, black male votes thing. And I know, Gimpy, you're not black.
He's not.
Pretty evident.
I'm sitting here thinking.
But
I'm colorblind, so
is there any difference between what black men want and any other race?
Yeah, of course, dude. Everybody wants something different. Every community. I mean, we all want the same thing: lots of money and success. But ultimately, everybody wants to get there a different way. I mean, this whole thing with black male votes, that tells you something. Like, I can't tell you about the black male condition and why it's happening per se, but if they're 18 days out and they're looking for parts of their solid base to come out, like, again, like I've told you guys before, I do not believe that there are undecided voters. It's about getting voters to vote. Everybody has an opinion. They already know who they'd vote for if they went. It's getting them motivated. Black men are not motivated to come for Kamala. The ones who want to vote for Trump are motivated voters. I don't think that they think they're going to pull any of you to come vote for her. I think they're going to get the guys who are sitting home saying, I don't really care because I don't want to vote for a woman, but I'm not going to vote for Trump. That's who they want to target.
And that whole thing, that whole trope of, because Obama brought that up, you're not doing it because you just don't want to vote for a woman.
Right.
Black men turned out in droves for Hillary Clinton. Okay. That Democrats don't act like Kamala was really popular in 2020. She didn't get one primary vote. Don't act like this is something new. People don't like Kamala Harris. Okay. Not only that, she has no experience. She turned down the interview with Bloomberg. Why? For the same reason that I would turn down an interview with Thoracic Surgery Weekly. I don't know shit about thoracic surgery. Okay. She doesn't know shit about the economy. So did you see the Bloomberg interview with Trump? If you haven't, go watch it.
No, I got to check that out.
Go watch it.
Definitely.
He handles that masterfully.
Oh, I mean, he went to the Wharton School of Business.
Right.
But even the left uses that to discredit him. Like, they understand that he has a degree in business and has run billion-dollar companies and uses things like bankruptcy as a tool. They know all these things, yet they still demonize him for it.
Right.
No,
They
demonize him for playing music for his supporters at a rally. They try and make it like, oh yeah, Trump's short-circuiting, but the dude stopped rallies for medical attention to, rally goers and supporters, and like, there's no low that they won't sing to, and it shows what their internal polling must reflect, that they're scrambling, that they want to call an interview where they ended it early with Brett Baer as a victory. I mean, it's the same sort of like how they're trying to call the debate with Biden and Trump a bit, right, afterwards.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Did you guys watch that Fox News interview? Did you guys get a chance to check that out?
I did.
So one of the cool things about Kamala interviews is that they're all like clips, right? They're all like the entire interview is generally 15 minutes long. So you're you're not really having to sit down a long time, and God bless you if you can get through it, right? But she sat down with Brett Baer, and Brett Baer is not generally known as being, a tough interviewer, but when you ask simple, poignant questions, and you're not used to addressing those questions, I think you put yourself in rough territory. So CT, when you saw that interview, what was your kind of first reaction, to seeing Kamala squirm?
I didn't watch the whole interview.
You probably watched most of it.
I'm kind of fatigued. I'm fatigued at this point. Again, you see a woman in panic mode. You see a woman who clearly has no more gas in the tank. She reverted back. From what I've watched, everything went back to Trump. Everything was Trump's fault. When he confronted her about the fact that Obama was in office for 8 years, Biden's been in office for 4. You've had Democrats in office longer than Republicans in the last, 15, 16 years. And everything goes to Trump, and constantly Trump this, Trump that. We had to fix what Trump left. I mean, it's all the same thing, man, over and over again, man. And we're going to continue to hear this from this woman for the next 18 or 19 days, man. So I didn't really think anything of it. I did respect the fact she came to Fox. I think that was one of her first times going into enemy territory, right? Wasn't it the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the first time.
But
so,
why does that deserve credit, though? Like, I mean,
I think it does deserve
it. Trump went to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Yeah.
Trump goes to all
Univision.
These other,
just did Univision.
These other, enemy or not non-friendly news stations, and we don't give him credit. It's almost like
I give him credit. I give him credit for doing it. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do. I don't know, but I give Kamala credit for going to Fox. To be honest with you. And to be honest, I didn't think it was that hard of an interview. I just saw the equivalent of a child having an outrage. To be honest with you, this is what you're gonna get. This is what you are gonna get if you elect this woman. So for the next 4 years, I just want people to know this. This is what you're gonna get when she gets the tough questions. Watch what's gonna happen. So if any Democrats are watching, any liberals, just be prepared. So yeah.
Dude, a buddy of mine follow up on that, a friend of mine, he's been saying, and he says you can see it happening already. She's going to have a mental breakdown. The first major global crisis where billions of lives depend on what she does next. She's going to snap and just go bananas because she's the wine mom of the United States, man. She's going to totally collapse under the pressure.
Yep. And
also, she's generally just not likable. I mean, have you seen Trump on Gutfeld? I think that was one of the. I was like, dude, that was because he's good at it. He's used to being in the public eye. He's used to being on television. He's used to being asked hard questions. He's used to being joked on. He's used to all of that good stuff. So it's just like, I mean, it's like, take it with a grain of salt. That's literally how he feels about it. And then on the other side, you have someone that did the interview that you guys saw the night before, that saw yesterday. It's just two completely different styles of people. You put her in front of the world. You put her in front of all of these leaders of the world, and she's going to get 8 for lunch. I mean, they're going to chew her up, spit her out. I mean, it'll be one of those instances in which, like, I don't even know somebody was talking. That kind of, I mean, for real, man. It's a joke. Seriously.
You're absolutely right. I cannot imagine this woman interacting with Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Lula da Silva. Nobody. All right, maybe Justin Trudeau. Okay.
Well, I mean, they would get along just fine, right? I mean, nice spa day, nice.
Right.
We gotta go get our nails done, feet done.
She would let him borrow some of her heels,
man.
Occasionally. That sort of thing.
All right, so I want to kind of shift gears a little bit because there is again a push to get out the vote for Kamala, and it's happening, right? And it's happening, so rampant that it's shameful. If black men particularly don't vote for Kamala. Now we're to assume Kamala is a black woman, so she naturally gets other black women to support her and push it, and we know black women are generally the backbone of everything. They take on the most stress. They're the smartest and most educated. They're
That's a joke.
I don't know. We always turn to a black woman when things are going wrong, and I just want to show and kind of go around the horn and get you guys' reaction on this, on why we should be voting for black women.
Cook for you. I can clean for you. I can raise your kids. I can tell
This
you
is
how
terrible.
so much soul comes from me. That's the reason why you taste it in my food, but you can't vote for me. I can't lead you, but yet I can guide you.
No, I can't.
Vote for me.
No.
I can tell you how to.
Let her speak. You're not letting the black woman speak.
Same like me. Everybody says you like me,
Okay,
but
and
you nothing
so
like me.
No, you gotta let her
But
speak.
yet and still, you get your clothing. Your children get the understanding. They get the.
I would not trust my kids with
I'm
you.
defending my black queens. You gotta listen to the woman.
But I can cry
Yeah,
out
I
kids
would
with a
not
bad
trust
boy
that
that
woman
lay
with
down
my
on the
kids.
street.
Mic.
I can tell you how to raise your kids.
I would not
right,
trust
and
them
I
with
can tell you how to
chaotics
have a fight,
imaginary
because
kids.
you ain't got no fight like I got. But you can't vote for me. I can walk into a room, be the biggest thing there without even having to talk. I can tell you how to get your mind together without even having to give you a real thought. I can lay process on you so you can process your own. I can lead you. I can guide you. But I can't run a country for you. And yet you wonder why you're living in destruction. Wonder why our kids are not eating. Why is it that every time I turn around, the food gets higher, but yet the goods get lower? I can't understand how you can't let a woman run it. But you can let me tell you what to do. Help me understand how I can tell you what to do. I can give you guidance. I can lead you, but you can't even vote for me for your freedom. Listen, I'm more than just something for you to understand. I am present, and I'm trying to help you have a present so your future can be everlasting. But you rather be in the dark because you believe what propaganda want to tell you, because you rather listen to the TV than open the book. And help me understand why black women are the most educated on this planet. But you won't vote for me. Help me understand how black women lead the most in jobs, but you won't vote for me. Black women lead as single mothers, having every time they have to break their backs when their child says that they need
This is
something.
going over into like torture at this point.
I'm trying to mute my head. I'm trying to turn the volume down.
You take
Like,
until you can't take anymore, and then you tell me to pray. You give me God instead of giving me protection. How come every time that I have to walk around, I gotta walk around just to make sure I'm safe? I gotta take a double take because every time I walk around, I can't feel.
All right, I mean, dude,
He's done two things in this
protected
script.
because black men want to hate me because I don't want to tolerate their BS and their foolery.
gotta listen to the black woman.
hold on. Let her finish this. Let her finish that. That thought. What I wish we'd have caught that without any interruption.
All right, so
It's over. Thank you.
clearly, all right, we can't. Black woman. She mentioned all of these things. She's raising, black children alone, single black woman. She's also working a job, and she's the smartest. And she cooks and cleans, and she tells everybody what to do. But we can't vote for her. Chadwick. She gave us a lesson right there. Like, why can't we vote for her?
Well, first, let's get a couple of things straight. I hate when people bring up this old 2012 article that says and they make the statement that black women are the most educated. I mean, I guess we weren't smart enough to actually read the entire title of this article, okay? And it was only one article. And that article said that black women are the most educated of their race. You have more degrees than black men do. You have more student loan debt than we do as well. We also have less degrees than you, but we make more money than you. Still, if you take the top 10 ranked schools in the United States, I'm not talking like DeVry or Phoenix. I'm talking like Princeton or Yale or Oxford or Stanford. Some of the schools that are the hardest to get into in the United States. And you look at the top 10% of those graduates, and guess what they are? Nigerian men.
Right.
They're not you. Like, stop. And the crazy thing is, yes, you are the largest thing that enters into the room. Like that front butt on the front of you is like, stop. This is terrible.
Even though he just ended our chances of sponsorship with University of Phoenix, I agree with Chad. I agree with Reason. But you know, it's funny. In her screed, she mentioned
hold on. What was that? In her what?
In her screed, she mentioned inflation and crime. And I'm like, where have you been? You know, the person you want to put in office is responsible for where inflation is and where crime is.
You're supposed to ignore that because she's a black woman.
Right.
CT, you over there quiet, man. I see the brain. Like, I don't know if you're like you said you were what exhausted by the Kamala clip. Now, what happened after that clip?
Well, yeah, I saw that clip with that big. I call him a big Pakistani. And
so she's not a do funny, huh?
She majors in big backyology.
She might be a dude. She looks bi. She has that. I could tell she still likes men, but she's bi. Probably has a white girlfriend or a white wife. This isn't new. This isn't new, guys.
Talking about intersectionality.
Yeah, I went to college I went to a very liberal arts college, and I saw this 20 years ago. I saw these blacks. I saw that very same black woman. Lawrence Taylor, body built, loud as can be. The Simone Sanders phenotype. She looks like Simone Sanders. But I went to school with women like that. Pro-black, pro-blackity black, but still loves the white man's accommodations. Still will work for the white man. Will drive his or her vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. Will make up lies about black achievements. For example, like the one about black women are more educated. Yeah, when they all are getting underwater basket weaving degrees, yeah, it would seem on paper that they are more educated. Yeah, I'll give you that. When I was in college, man, I swear to God, I was in class. Sometimes it'd be 30 of us, and I was the only guy in the class. But it was sociology. It was some underwater basket weaving course. So the thing of the matter is that when I look at these women now, I look at it as a comedy special now because I'm a little bit older. Don't get me wrong. I would have been there too at 19, 20, listening to that mumbo jumbo as well because of the poetry aspect of it.
Yeah.
But these people are either they are terrorists, either we view them as terrorists and having an existential threat to this country, or we look at them as comedians. I look at them as comedians. This woman has no power. Women have no power. This woman is not going to be on the front lines to build for damn sure for war. Leave it up to this woman. We wouldn't have any goods transported over oceans. Leave it up to this woman or her viewpoint of women. We wouldn't have firefighters. We wouldn't have police officers. We wouldn't have pretty much critical infrastructure. And that's one of the biggest problems in this community. These blacks sit around and they just talk that poetry nonsense. Poetry doesn't erect skyscrapers. Poetry doesn't build dams. Poetry doesn't do anything. It's just talk. So I look at these people look at the way she's dressed. I look at her as a comedian now. And other than 2:00 in the morning getting Taco Bell after being drunk and getting a BJ from her, there's no reason why any man should want to be around her. And it's just the honest to God's truth.
All right. So look, man, you ain't gonna talk about. Look, I'm gonna just put it on record. You ain't gonna talk about my black queens like that. Just I'm trying to keep it. YouTube.
That's a black queen.
Like YouTube.
Well, and there goes Taco Bell.
I'm
So,
trying to. All right, look, but, all right. So listen, but we are gonna have to start just the guys' vocabulary and definitions. We're gonna have to post this somewhere. So what'd you call her, CT? A big Pakistan.
Big Pakistan.
Big Pakistan. So big Pakistan.
You can run tackle for the Ravens. I'm almost sure.
So we got big Pakistani, then we got do funnies.
Do funny.
So guys, we're gonna do a pop quiz. Maybe in a couple of weeks, and see. But guys, make sure you subscribe to Just the Guys. Also check out some of our Metro Conservative Media's other channels, Poppin' Politics, who just went over 100K in subs. All American Talk Show, they're doing some incredible work with panel discussions and the like. So check out those other channels right here on YouTube.
Can we highlight Bob's comment real quick, by the way?
Yeah.
That's I mean, you're right, Bob. Like I guess it takes a little bit of skill and maybe
the stuff will float away if you don't keep a hand on it.
I wrote if you don't mind, I wrote a paper. I mean, I did a live stream about a year ago, and Bob was there, about the big hoop earring black woman, and I broke it down for 2.5, 3 hours about the witchcraft that these women are spewing. I mean, think about this. This woman had a crowd of people listening to her. She's a complete idiot and she's really completely useless to society. I mean, what does she do besides probably work for some BS nonprofit? And so the thing of the matter is that look at how she's Bob. Remember Bob? The big ass hoop earrings, the talk of mommy Africa, even though she ain't living there. Think about what I said, the weight. Hey man, I'm telling you, man, these women are I don't necessarily believe in this, but a lot of these women are preaching they're spewing witchcraft.
You might be onto something.
I am onto something.
No, you might be onto something. But real quick, make sure you guys check us out tomorrow at check it out on Eventbrite. We're going to be right here in Baltimore with the Poppin' Politics hosting the Informed Voters event right here in Baltimore City. We'll post the link in the description. But get your tickets. We got an incredible lineup of speakers. Maj Touré, Dave Anderson, Chad Jackson, and myself. We're going to be there, hanging out in the community, but talking about things that impact the community the most. And I would say this, guys, it's time for us to be on offense. We got to stop playing around with this, start defending, and reacting to things. We got to be the leaders. We're the ones responsible for this next generation, this next movement, this next wave of influence in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, towns, in the country. So, guys, make sure we're on the offense and check out the Informed Voters event,
Voter Power Series.
So, CT, you actually kind of leading us into the next element of our discussion, which is we saw that lady there, big Pakistan as you call her, but I'm defending my black queens. Hold on, I gotta say that. But big Pakistan,
no, you don't.
Not
even a little.
But there is who's following these type of people and why?
Sims, dude. For every woman who runs their mouth,
following these,
who will bend himself. Didn't you ever hear that Rogan bit where the woman comes into an office and all the dudes bend themselves into the shape that fits to get her attention?
Are you asking me this?
I mean, it was open
following
question.
These women.
Yeah.
Logic, there are niggas that will kill for that big, but that I want to say the big word, but I want to be. There are dudes that will have a shootout for her.
Mm-hmm.
They were standing right there. It looked like,
bro. I am telling you, man. Especially the blacks, they have to get off of this matriarchy. There are so many blacks, man, that are. I know a lot of older black men. Trump's a racist. I'm going to vote for Kamala. I'm like, what? just because she's a woman. It's a lot of simps in the black race, man. Same thing with these white dudes for Kamala, man. Dude, you gotta set standards, man. And I'm telling you, that woman right there, you'll be shocked, Logic. She could pull more dudes than a bad chick could, to be honest. Yeah. So she gets a lot of followers, man.
Well, you also have to understand there is an attempted bullying by the matriarchy of the black community, and it's destroying this culture. We have a lot of black men who suffer from this son mom issue or complex. Yeah, because a lot of them have been raised by single mothers, so they have this unhealthy reference for the women of the culture, and because of that, we will just sit here and like there's no reason that not last year but the year before last there was like 74 black men that died defending the stupidity of something that a black woman did. Like that makes absolutely no sense to me. You should woman fighting with their daughter's father brings her brother, and the brother wants to fight because the 10-year-old son like wanted to leave or wanted to play football just so he could be with his girlfriend, and the mother was cool with that. The dude's 10. This is a 10-year-old boy. And the dad's like, that makes no sense. And the mom brings the brother to fight the dad because he's trying to be a masculine father. I'm telling you, the cool thing about that is this, okay? A lot of black men today have been red-pilled. That started about 5 years ago. Because we had an issue starting about 30 years ago, I believe it was 1989, when Dr. Shahrazad Ali came out with the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And she got butchered for that.
Yeah.
For years. She still gets flack for that today. And it's crazy because our culture has had an issue messing with or holding accountable the sacred cow that is the black woman. But now, today, the reason that so many of these men are dumping Kamala and following Trump is because the black manosphere has gotten to them, and they've been red-pilled enough to understand that, you know what, this, quite frankly, is bullshit. The stuff that you're trying to still spew to us today is bullshit. The what you are attempting to push as masculinity into our faces today is bullshit, and expecting us not to be like, you know what, this some bullshit. So, yeah, I went there. Well, so because of that, what's happening is, and I'll land the plane bling. What's happening is the reason these men are actually going to Trump is because they see conquering in that. They don't see this what is being pushed into the black culture today through the Democratic Party is masculinity. I'm telling you, black men being red-pilled in the last 5 years is the best thing that ever happened to them. Because what's going to happen is the women are going to get in line, or else they're going to get left. Because there's a reason that the top 3% of black men in the United States that have a master's level degree or higher are dating or marrying out. You should find out why that is.
So, Gippy, you hadn't said anything in a while, but is Chadwick's, Reason's statement misogynistic?
Yes, and it's okay. I mean, it's true. I hate to say it, it's true, but
how's the truth misogyny, man?
Because misogyny is it's a function of the universe. It doesn't necessarily make it bad.
So what is misogyny?
Good and bad things that aren't necessarily good and bad.
What is misogyny then? So help me. Like,
I mean,
misogyny not bad.
Because
very simply, the Oxford English Dictionary defines misogyny as very simply the hatred of women.
It's the Oxford Dictionary. That has been perverted over time.
Yeah, but
That's
let's
one of
say
the only ones that hasn't been perverted over time.
let's say it does mean the hatred of women. Does Chadwick's statement is it misogynist? Gimpy, you said yes.
Yes, I did.
I don't think it is misogynist. I think that, listen, the problems that we face in the United States today is going to take masculinity to solve those problems. Okay. You're not going to deal with crime, rising crime rates. The FBI just came out and basically said the administration's lying again. They revised the crime statistics up. They just did that yesterday. You're not going to deal with Trende Aragua and everybody from every corner of the earth coming here outside of an official border crossing, okay, unless you have masculinity. Now, look, what we had with Joe Biden was just senility, okay, because once upon a time, he was tough on the borders, all right?
I actually think Joe Biden was pretty funny, too.
On things.
There's no way that a Kamala Harris, and people know this, okay, Black men, white men, Hispanic men know that Kamala Harris, look, my wife and I were talking about this last night. Hillary Clinton is more masculine than Obama. Okay. I mean, you look, say what you will about Hillary, right? You can sleep well at night. You know, she'd go to war at the drop of a hat. You know, you do know that. But it's going to take masculinity to look at these government agencies and say, we got to stop spending. Okay. I've said I've been saying this for a while. NASA should be first on the chopping block. Unmanned scientific missions only. They should be out of the manned space business. Okay. Let these private corporations like SpaceX and Blue Origin take that. We need to look at and it's going to take masculinity to look at that and say, I don't give a damn about John Glenn or Neil Armstrong. This is not nostalgia. This is real life. Okay. And Kamala, the world knows Kamala Harris is not going to come with that. It'll take masculinity to do the hard things we need to do right now to try to put this country back on track. And remember, this guy's only got 4 years.
Yeah, look, I'm so masculinity is what it takes, but when you see these guys or whomever, and this is across different races or whatever, like supporting Kamala, it seems like there's kind of like this cookie cutter type.
Can I give my answer to you since I got cut off twice? And it's okay. It's fine. Misogyny is not necessarily bad. Masculinity is not bad. They assign these to this in this modern hierarchy of intersectionality. Like, because masculinity isn't providing for your family, protecting your family, building legacy, creating generational wealth, family, community, right? All those things are good. Those are all masculine. Nothing's wrong with them. That's what you're talking about, Blaine, right?
But misogyny, as defined, is the hatred of women.
That's what they were.
At least from my perspective.
But they call what he says hating women, and that's not hating women. But that's what I mean. That yes, it is misogyny. They'll tell you that that's hating women, but that's not hating women. They also call leading for a family and being properly masculine as toxic. I mean,
it's toxic, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is you're using the modern definition of what the words are versus what they actually mean.
Yes. Like that, yeah, of course they're going to call that misogynistic is my point. That doesn't matter. It still makes it the right thing to do. A lot of the time, having to do the right thing will get you a ton of criticism. So
this is what I talk about. Let's stop responding and reacting. Let's use what the words mean.
Right.
So if something is not misogynist, then let's not call it misogynist.
I have another. This is, again, I'll use the Oxford Language Dictionary, but they go on. Expanded definition says an ingrained prejudice of women. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Is it bad to prejudge, let's say, a woman's ability on a battlefield? Okay? That's not bad to say, you know what? Here comes a platoon of Russian Marines. I'm going to prejudge this situation. I'm going to say, I don't think this platoon of women is going to do too hot against these guys. And since we want to win, I'm going to send some dudes at this. Okay. It is not bad to prejudge women as more nurturing, as the naturally more nurturing partner in a two-parent family. Okay, sure, there are exceptions, but yet prejudging a situation is actually one of the things that has helped us survive. Okay, so prejudice in and of itself is not a bad thing. Prejudging a situation is in many ways a survival technique.
Yeah,
I'll second that real quick. Go ahead.
I would say that is strategic, right? Because I mean, if you're playing Pokemon, right, and you know, my son has all these Pokemon cards now, and you know, if one card has a certain strength, right, a certain weakness, and they have a certain amount of allowable hit points, right, you don't play that card up against another card that you know can defeat it, right? It's more of a strategic calculation. You want to put down the card that gives you the best chance of a victory, right? So go ahead, Reason.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off Bling. Also understand that to judge is normal. There is nothing wrong with to make an assessment of some. There's never an issue. There's never been an issue with that. I think the problem is when you're being judgmental. And again, words have meaning. They misconstrue the two. To judge something is normal. There's never been an issue with anyone judging. So we judge people every day. We judge our children. We judge ourselves. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's I was just piggybacking off Bling.
All right. So look, it does seem to be a group of people not willing to use the strategic judgment for feelings, and it seems like like these people are just kind of constantly being churned out. They all look the same. I mean, if you remember the clip at the beginning with the reporter there, he's a real pretty boy, asking the questions real softly and, nodding his head. Yeah, yes, mama. Yes, mama. So there seems to be kind of like this image, one, of people who don't want to use that knowledge to prejudge, as you say, I guess, or to be a misogynist, or and they're just kind of like in support, blind support of Kamala, these kind of policies that push away economic viability and success, promote family, promote safety in our communities. Why are we seeing people being portrayed like that? Why is this the new, I guess, normal to represent that kind of support? And I'm gonna open up the floor to that. Like, just anybody who wants to jump in on that.
Do you see, however, who or what type of men these are? Like this metrosexual shit. I'm sorry. This metrosexual stuff. See, masculinity used to be very, very, very square, very rigid. Now it's turned into this malleable type thing that's being put out here, and it's being put out and represented a lot of the time by us. If you see these commercials that some of these men, I mean, there's I think it's a Coors Light commercial. They have this black dude, this white dude, this white chick, and I'm looking at this black dude like, you are the most unmasculine thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, blonde hair, all that. What in the world is going on here? I mean, why? You have to ask why. There's got to be a reason behind. What's the reason behind this? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to push into or keep in our community and culture that says this is what we need to portray in media and society and magazines, and we have guys in dresses. And the actor that just got banned from Marvel, he what's the dude's name? He was the Gimpy. You know who I'm talking about? The black dude who was supposed to be the next Marvel villain, right? The one who ended up running from his wife. Yeah, he was playing Genghis or Kang the Conqueror. This guy plays in Creed, and then after that, he's modeling in a pink dress. What in the world?
Yeah, because he's trying so desperately to get back into Hollywood, and this is the price he has to pay. Look, androgyny is usually an indicator of end stage for empires. Okay, now it's not something that you can predict that's going to happen tomorrow, but understand this also. This isn't really that new. If you go back to the 80s, you had a lot of androgyny. I mean, look at Prince, Michael Jackson, a lot of the big hair rock bands. But the difference was,
okay,
you had balance. You had Schwarzenegger, you had Snipes, you had Van Damme, all these other guys on the other side, right? And it might have been cool to listen to Prince's music, but you also knew that wearing butt-out jeans and a perm was not something that you were going to try to emulate. However, you would get down and do some push-ups after you came from seeing a Van Damme movie, okay? You would try to get into martial arts after, seeing Wesley Snipes. But today, we've got, some folks that have grown up with a lot of sexual ambiguity that's been driven into their psyches, and they're starting to run the world, okay? This is why television is unwatchable today, okay? And is there an agenda behind it, or is it just, again, a manifestation of the end of the empire, the beginning of the end of the empire?
How do you respond, CT?
What was the question?
Is this the beginning of the end of the empire?
No. I indeed believe it's the beginning of a new age. Quantum computing is right around the corner. Right now, we have initiatives in other parts of the globe to bring in the internet. It's 3 billion people who do not have access to the internet. Imagine if 3 billion more people had access to the internet, in the untapped minds and talent that we have across the globe. India is making impressive inroads in unmanned space assets, or they have a space program where they've sent something I think a probe or something to the moon, if I'm not mistaken, but they're making good inroads. And to me, I call it it's like a poverty space program, but they're making inroads. Indeed, I believe that we have the most educated people in human history, the most people with the most knowledgeable people right now. I believe that maybe in the next 50 to 100 years, man, we might actually begin to terraform Mars and have colonies as far as Saturn. I really believe that, man. We've always had wars. We've always had weirdos in societies. We've always had terrorism. We've always had savagery. So because we see it on a daily basis doesn't mean that it's something new or unique. No, it's just now that we have the ability to see all this crazy stuff now. But then again, when I walk outside, it's blue jays and sometimes it's hummingbirds and beautiful white women running down the street, man. I'm like, God damn, on Twitter, it seems like there's wars everywhere, but where I'm at, it's beautiful, So I don't know, man. I really believe that we are on the cusp of something. Did you guys see Elon Musk the other day unveiling the robots and the van and the
rocket that landed in the gantry?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I really believe as human beings, we look at the negative. And it's easy to look at the negative, right? It's easy to look at the bad, but there's a lot of good that humanity is doing. There's a lot of good people, man. And it's a lot of good innovation. It's a lot of good places to go. And I don't know, man. I always I'm very optimistic, man.
I'm
Well,
not
I definitely
understand.
appreciate that. Yes.
Understand this. When I say end of the empire, let me be more specific. The end of Western hegemony that we saw come out of the end of World War II. Okay, if you look at it economically, for example, all of the Western countries are overextended in terms of their budgets. All of the Western countries have declining birth rates. All of the Western countries are having difficulty recruiting for their militaries. And all of the Western countries are watering down their cultures with mass unbridled immigration. Now, when Rome fell, that didn't mean the world stopped. Okay, the Dark Ages, that's a misnomer. All right, a lot of things happened to push humanity along during that time. So yeah, we can still have, technological advancements in literature and whatnot. But look, let's not kid ourselves. India, China, and Russia are the adults in the room. The United States of America is 230 some odd years old. We're talking about cultures that go back thousands of years. It is not out of the realm of possibility that they will again take center stage at some point. America's an experiment.
You can both be right. You know that, right?
I'm not disagreeing with.
No, I'm just saying both things can be true. And Western hegemony may collapse as we know it now, and it still doesn't mean the rise to the rest of the world powers. I'm just saying if we achieve what you're talking about, chaotic, we couldn't maintain the world we live in. It's not possible. If you have, if the United States reaches across the stars, you're not the United States anymore.
Right. I thought
now you're an interplanetary empire. I'm sorry, it changes things.
Yeah.
So you can both be right. You know what I mean? Like, simply put, yes. If we do what you want, it is the end of the Western Empire the way we know it. Something new is born instantly the minute we can put people on the moon and sustain it. Not just for a trip, but like forget about Mars or any. The minute you can control space with people and you can land 2 divisions of troops and occupy something. I mean, I hate to use it, but that's what it is. It's as soon as you can control it with force, because that's the way you control things. It changes the game for any country that does it. They become interplanetary the minute that, and that's what I mean.
And to both your point, Gimpy and CT's, where have we seen the most cooperation? We've seen it in space. If you go back to Soyuz, we saw that in the midst of the Cold War. Right now, Russians and Americans are working together in the International Space Station, despite what's going on with this proxy war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also control of these resources. That's another thing for these regional wars tied to this. Just because Ukraine, Middle East, these are unique resources, regions of the world. Yeah, like war in Lebanon is an interesting thing because I wonder what's under the ground in Lebanon. Like, sorry, even as a Jew, I asked that question. I mean, I'm just saying, like, dude, anywhere where I see war keep erupting now, I have questions, man. I do. We're so eager to send money. Look, as an American, I have questions about why we send money. Like, don't get me wrong. I want money to Israel, but I still ask questions. I want accounting. I do for all of it. Like anything else, it all has to be held to the test at this point. Because, I mean, you tell us every day on your channel how much we're leaving in debt to our grandchildren.
But I mean, but why is this? I just don't understand. Like, who and why are we going down this path of, like, you know? And I think a big part of it is feminizing men. And when we see in Western, you call it Western hegemony, like why is it being destroyed and who's trying to do it?
I don't know, but they feature guys like Doug Emhoff, and he beats women, so not much has changed. I mean, if we're
it's almost like we're seeing like these cookie cutter freaks come out, and like it's like there's a freak factory, or a do funny factory, or a big back factory, that's somewhere in the world that's, just kind of churning these people out.
But
Like,
look, it's beyond the look too. Now they do have a similar look, but they all share a couple of other characteristics in common. They hate critical thought. Okay, they always lean toward emotionalism, right? Think about it. Nobody from the left is trying to convince black men to vote for Kamala based on politics and policy. They're just saying she's black, man. She's a woman. What do you hate, women?
allegedly
Okay.
black, allegedly black.
Right, whatever. The other, so it's critical thought and a rejection of that Renaissance, that whole thing that came out of the Renaissance with reasoning. Okay, our ability to reason is what separates us from the lower animals. But there's a rejection of reason, and the rejection of reason and the rejection of critical thought, or the refusal to think critically, both of those things have been abdicated to emotion. Okay,
But man, but when you go into some of these like, for example, that lady giving her poetry, right? She's one of the critical thinkers, right? She came up with the poem, and or if you're out here getting high, you know what that does to your thought. You start thinking more critically. So these are the critical thinkers, and this is the conclusion of the quote unquote critical thought.
Well, that's what passes for it on their side in their ideology, because again, she contradicted herself twice. She was promoting a vote for Kamala Harris, but at the same time, she said inflation's up, something about she couldn't afford groceries, and crime's up, something about she didn't feel safe walking the streets. So
and she said she raised the kids, and she also said she raised the kids too. So
right, so she was full of contradictions, which that basically says that she's not thinking when she wrote this out. She didn't even see the contradictions in her own words. So that's not critical thought. That's just emotionalism. I'm going to say this with a certain inflection, and that's going to be my substitute for reason and critical thought.
You also have to understand that, like Kamala and Obama are, Kamala, Mamala.
Listen, I'm defending my black things tonight.
Okay. Her and Obama are seriously still attempting to play that emotional card, victimhood card, pretty much to black men, because a lot of black men run their logic through their emotion because they're raised by single mothers. And I honestly believe that that's the only thing that they can really get or attempt to get the men on, because I haven't heard a single, and I believe she attempted to come up with some kind of plan directed towards black men. But you know what? If until she starts showing up with actually something that involves some sort of policy of any kind, really, it's all going to be emotional.
Her plan is bullshit. Okay, it's
you understand.
Go through the. Let's go through. Soldiers. Let's go through the plan.
All right. So
what was the first thing she came up with on this?
First thing she said was she was going to create these forgivable loans, which I'm like, okay, that a forgivable loan, that's a grant, but whatever. We won't play semantics. Okay, fine.
No, you got to play semantics, man.
So a forgivable loan, forgivable up to $20,000. Now, she didn't elaborate, so I can't tell if you can get $50,000 and 20 is forgivable, or if it's up to 20. But she specifically said, yeah, you can get $20,000 to start a website. And I'm like, the fuck? It's Amazon.com? That's a hell of a website. Okay. So she said that. Then
God.
She said marijuana. Okay. She apparently initially didn't realize marijuana was still illegal at the federal level, but she corrected that, afterward. But she came out and said she's going to make it so that black men have an opportunity to get into the marijuana business, not the financial services business, not the defense contractor business, which is very lucrative of late, not the real estate business, not the retail sales business, the marijuana business, okay? Which, if you know anything about that business, first of all, taxation is onerous, is not legal at the federal level, so banks won't deal with you, okay? And when that is federally legal, Pfizer is Bayer. They're going to own that, not Lil Darius, okay? So
that's not true. Thanks to state laws with it, that last part is definitely not true. Maryland for sure. Maryland will not allow, like the state of Maryland will not allow Pfizer or Bayer to own that market at federal. The laws right now prevent it. They have it set to be. Look, the only reason why I know about it is because, right, like I work in an industry that tries to scoop all those bad boys up because banks won't do business with them. Fine.
When the federal government makes it legal, and Pfizer, with its multi-billion-dollar revenue stream, goes down to Washington, D.C. and opens a checkbook, or goes to Annapolis and opens a checkbook,
they'll literally have to change.
They will get a fucking
we'll see, man,
stallion to deal cards.
That's a big push in Maryland of why they structured it again.
It's legislation. It can be. It's not written.
I know, but again, that they picked it specifically so that could never happen. Like they structured it here, so that's never supposed to happen.
There's a lot of things in this country that was never supposed to happen.
Okay, but again, a lot of states are building their laws about it specifically around not allowing that to happen. Maryland is the best example of that. I mean, it's onerous and it's tax. I won't deny that.
The Volstead Act was supposed to make it so that alcohol would never be able to be sold in the United States.
Yeah, and they repealed it. I get it. Dude, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, the governments currently don't want that, like, the lobby for it, the money for it, whatever you want to say, wherever it comes from. They're just not supportive. They want it to stay a small business industry.
No,
they don't
they don't. And I'm going to tell you, you're in Maryland. You remember the whole thing when Robert Ehrlich was governor, gambling was the worst thing in the world. And they turned right around, and when they realized how much tax revenue they could get off of it, Martin O'Malley greased the skids, Maryland Live, the one down in Baltimore, so now it's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, Republicans are
irrelevant at this point because all of these states have gambling now. So that's the precedent for it. Tax revenue and political donations. Okay.
Tax revenues for sure.
So I'm just standing pat on that's not a business that small business people will be able to get into beyond maybe, they might be able to do something with paraphernalia. Okay.
So
hold on. Do you know how the licenses break down in Maryland? Again, do you know how it is, like the workflow stream from plant to purchase at the counter? There are 3 separate licenses that Maryland controls for you to get, and almost no one holds all 3, right? Like growers aren't processors, and some dispensaries all have processing licenses so they can pack their own stuff, right? Like you have all these, they structured the whole like bureaucracy to make it that it's harder. If you're big, you can't have all aspects of the business here in Maryland, right? They would have to change the whole licensing, which means loss of money for the state. And that's why they built it that way. So in the future, when they came to that question, well, we don't really want to change the licensing game because that's a huge revenue hit for us. Now they're just going to have to wait in line like everyone else. So they'll have to, over time, big companies will have every license. But the idea is to create gates. So that can't happen. That they broke it up by making it you need a license for each stage of the process to get it to market. And they limit how many licenses a year and how often they control. Again, I'm not saying I'm pro this. I'm just talking from a business perspective. Maryland went to great lengths to try and prevent Big Pharma from ever being able to monopolize that market. And that's
they at least have State Pharma, right? I mean, at least in Maryland.
I totally understand what you're saying, Gimpy, and I don't disagree that is the structure of it right now. All I'm saying is, America is a business.
True.
Okay?
True.
And when big money interests start to talk, people listen.
I don't
All right,
deny any of that.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
my bad.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, I want to have faith that something could possibly work out the way we plan. Maybe.
So Kamala's plan, at least in this regards, because that's what we were on about getting, what do you call them, CT? What do you call them? Getting
what?
No, getting. I think it starts with an N. Getting.
Oh no.
Oh Jesus.
Ends getting.
Kamala was saying something about getting what?
Man, where you been?
You missed it, man. It's okay. It's
Where you
all
been?
right.
Where you been?
Oh,
So getting the brothers in the drug game legally.
Right.
Yeah.
Part of her plan. You're saying pretty in Maryland it wouldn't work, at least from Tyrone's point.
You're saying that Kamala wants to legalize marijuana in
Like in her plan, in her plan for black men.
Is to legalize it and get them licenses to be in the business.
Oh, I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, hasn't that worked in other places of the country? People have opened up. What do they call it? Distilleries?
Dispensaries.
Yeah, dispensary. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, as long as they, I don't know the legal procedure of doing it, but I've seen businesses open up and it seems to be pretty successful.
But
So,
is this what you use to attract black men?
People.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, if you think about, I don't know how much money a dispensary adds to the economy, but sure, why not? Yeah.
So Kamala's plan, $20,000 in forgivable loans, start a business, getting black people involved in the weed business or whatever it is.
Can I? May I? Because and I'll be quick on this. Like, getting black people involved in the weed business is just. I mean, her thought process isn't thinking that this is something that we would be interested in.
Right.
That's really it. I mean, I think, quite frankly, that being able to get into the weed business would be brilliant in the thought process of everybody, not just, you know what I mean? I'm stuck in that now. I wish I could get into that, not because I'm a weed smoker, but because it's a financially beautiful thing. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, look, the way I look at this plan is that Mama's trying to help, trying to give you a little bit of money. Mama's trying to help, and you're nothing more than weed smokers anyway. So here's a little incentive for you, instead of sitting out on a stoop, maybe make some money in it. I guess I don't know.
Dude, so you know the funniest part of that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blaine.
Real quick, she also said that she was going to break down barriers for black people to participate in crypto. I was unaware that there were barriers.
I didn't know there was a problem.
But
I had an issue with that. I actually did have an issue with that, because I think what that effectively will do is promote underground, like more underground black market, untraceable transactions. And
it's already all that.
But what I'm saying is, like, you're effectively legalizing the black market.
What, with crypto in general?
Crypto in general is a black market of its own. It's a commodity.
But when you're promoting this as part of your platform, right? And when you're planting this seed,
dude, she's promoting drug dealing.
But
she's
this is what I'm saying.
Like promoting illegal drug dealing on her platform.
But that's my point. It's like, Mama's here to help, and then you're black men, particularly because this platform is geared towards black men, because this is what Mama believes black men are interested in. You're nothing more than drug dealers, so I'm going to make sure we can protect the drug game so you can transact without getting caught, and we're going to quote unquote legalize other aspects of it. While it's this, to me, it's demeaning. To me, it's not. It goes against, again, building families, building communities. Their claim is building wealth, but it's not.
Well, you know the funniest part about it, right? Like if we use Maryland as a stand, $20,000 is the loan, and weed is the business she wants you to get into. It's $100,000 for the first year's license. It's 5 times what she's willing to give you to get you into the business.
And none of it's going to happen. First of all, there are no barriers for black men to. If you're a black man with a smartphone, you're in the crypto game.
Really that simple.
As far as the loans or the grants or whatever it is, not going to happen. Okay, the weed thing, not going to happen. It's not. None of this is going to happen. So I can't think of anyone who would be convinced to vote for her based on any of that.
Mm-hmm.
None of it applies. Okay, none of it applies.
I mean, look.
Yeah, Bob is 100% right. She's literally offering things that black people are capable of getting on our own. Like
Exactly.
we're not helpless. This is a capitalistic country. I'm happy about that. I can work hard, I can do well, and I can succeed because of that.
Right.
Man, but look at this. Look at this point by point. Black man, you're broke, don't know how to be an entrepreneur. You're stupid because you need more education training. You're only going to participate in the black market, so let's make sure we can get you in the underground. You're unhealthy because you know the illnesses that disproportionate. You're unhealthy, and all you want to do is smoke pot.
Right.
That is the checklist of this opportunity agenda for black men. Not building families, not promoting generational, not home ownership to the extent of you can buy a home and reducing the rate of inflation and making home ownership, groceries, these things more affordable, reducing crime so your insurance rates can go down. That's not the plan. And it's almost like there's this belief in the political community that black people in general are some type of other species. And it's like, I really, this frustrates me, is because what is it that we really want? Do we want safe communities? And is it more difficult or different for safe communities to apply to black people? Right? Do we want to be able to change our economic situation, not be stuck in just one? Do we want to be able to change our economic situation? Or is it that we can never get there because black people are just too stupid to climb up the economic ladder? That's what really gets me in a lot of these politics.
The dirty little secret here is this. If you create policies like you stop with unbridled federal spending, you get rid of these, you do this thing that Trump wants to do with, sending people back where they came from. And if you want to come into the United States, you got to come through legally, like so many people do every year, right? Mm-hmm. You lower federal spending, you do that, you extend the tax cuts to corporations. This is another thing where people get emotional about. You have never been given a job by a poor person, all right? So it's fine for Amazon to be wealthy because they employ people, all right? They give you the ability to come down there and earn some money so that you can, have a roof over your head or buy some food. It's that simple. So people don't want to, a lot of people on the left, they don't want to realize that economically speaking, I really, what the white guy needs and what the Hispanic guy needs and what the Asian guy needs is what I need. Okay. Lower taxation, an environment that does not impede job growth. Okay. Lower federal spending. I don't give a damn what color you are. All right. you can benefit from those 3 items alone tremendously. And but so many constituencies want to hear a message tailored to them specifically. All right. At the end of the day, money is what matters. Okay. Get it through your head. You're not getting any reparations. Okay. It's never going to happen. They just use it as a little carrot, keep you voting for them. Women, 0.5% of you have abortions. This is not the big issue that they make you believe it is. All right. No, we shouldn't be giving prisoners and illegal aliens sex changes at taxpayer expense. And no, we should say, hey, Volodymyr Zelensky, here's a tip, man. You got to go to the negotiating table with Putin. Now keep your G5 running. Keep the pilot in the cockpit because you might need to get the hell out of there rather quickly. But we're turning the spigot off, man. Charity begins at home.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing that they don't want, man. And this is, again, it goes back to strong black woman. I'm defending my black queens though. Strong black woman. She's educated. She's pushing the man out, and the family unit, those simple things that the Asian community, the Hispanic community, the white community, all these things want, they apply to the black community as well. But it's just marketed and sold in a different package that, man, the black woman is the queen. She can be the queen in the house. She's not the queen of the community. She's not the queen of government. We don't have queens. We don't have kings and queens in government. We got away from that. Right? So, man, CT, Gimpy, Reason, y'all been quiet, man. Like, what's...
Been quiet?
Yeah. Before we go, shout out to Bob. He's in Maryland, and if you're we're in Maryland. CT somewhere else in the far Midwest. But if tomorrow,
CT's in the great state of Ohio.
Yeah, he's right outside of Springfield. No, just. But again, if you're in Maryland, come through tomorrow night. Inform Power Series. You can scan the QR code or go on Eventbrite and look up the Inform Voter Power Series, and you'll see it.
Is he ever going to read it right?
Inform Voter Power Series. What are you talking about? What did I say?
Inform Power Series.
Oh, I've been skipping voter.
Yes.
Oh, Inform Voter Power Series. All right. All right, my fault. Inform Voter Power Series.
Bring Bob.
Yeah, Bob.
His last, not Bob. That one, but he made another comment.
Real Paul.
Yeah, that one right there.
But y'all come through. Anyway, and I'll say this about the comments. Whoever this, what is his name? I think that's y'all friend on CT show, Righteous Muffin. Like, we're not doing that here on our show. I'm gonna just leave that alone. Yeah, y'all can hang CT show. You could definitely do that. I think, if CT allows it. But on our show, you know what I'm saying? We're building a community right over here. I don't know if that's a friend of you guys, and if
it's not a friend of mine, bro. He sees, dude. He sees me oppressing him in all his nightmares. I'm his personal oppressor.
Well, look, can I say something about what you just said, Logic? And you're 100% correct. And I'm tired of this being pushback because I bring up all the time that it is a cultural problem. And when I say that, and this is to what Bob was talking about, when I say that all of these other cultures can get it right, why can't we as a culture? I'm tired of getting all this pushback of saying, well, we're not that culture. Well, the people that say that, you're the problem. Okay? Like, no, we need to do better. We need to get our kids educated. We need to be able to be entrepreneurs. We need to be able to think for ourselves without being shot down as a traitor to our race because we don't agree with what this chick was saying earlier today. I mean, come on. All I'm saying is it's not new.
Right.
What other cultures are doing is not new. And me personally, I don't have enough pride. I'm not so prideful that I can go to someone else and be like, hey, You guys are doing it right. What are you doing? And then follow the method of it. You know what I mean? That's look.
And you can see, I mean, look, we would all agree that immigration is out of control, but with regard to the people that want to come here for a better life, I'm not talking about the criminal element, but the people that want a better life, think about what it takes to get up and leave everything you are familiar with just to go somewhere where you can escape like a Maduro oppressive regime, fucked up economy that you're never
here, bro.
get. So you get up and come thousands of miles to a totally unfamiliar place. And look, some of these people were doctors in their countries, and they come here and they're cab drivers, okay? But they do it in order to build a better life. Now, we've been here, 400 years, right? And we cannot seem to understand this formula, okay? What it is we rely on government too much. We think that Kamala Harris is going to get elected and all black people's problems will be magically solved, even though that's not what happened when people went wild about Obama.
Man. It's just wild out here, man.
It's 2024, right before a crazy election.
It's just wild out here, man. Are y'all voting for Trump?
Yes. And 10 times, if you could run 10 times,
Don't believe
absolutely.
CT. The hat's a lie. It's all a red herring. He's a Kamami boy. He's simping hard for Kamami. That hat's just to confuse everybody.
Black Lives MAGA.
Is the vote? Let me ask this: is the vote for Trump or against Kamala?
For Trump.
For Trump.
For Trump all day, every day.
For Trump.
I mean, it was guys.
Can I say both?
It wasn't the 50s. It was 4 years ago. Okay, people remember that economy.
Mm-hmm.
People remember no new wars.
I want you to because I want to kind of get out of here in just a second. But all right, so the retort to the economy in general, at least from the Democrat side, is that it was Obama's economy that Trump inherited.
Oh, okay.
And that that Trump just took advantage of, and he was riding the wave. But Trump's policies didn't do anything for the economy.
Really?
And what we're seeing now in the Biden era are the effects of Trump's policies.
Oh, I see.
How do you respond to that from an economic
Trump's
perspective?
Tax cuts and Trump's tariffs, they didn't have any effect. Right. And I guess if it was Obama's economy that Trump inherited, well, I guess Obama inherited Chester A. Arthur's immigration policy. I mean, look, we're not going to play that game. It wasn't Obama's economy. I will give Obama this. Okay, he came in 08, and the economy was, in a tailspin. Okay, so yeah, he did help to get that ship righted, but taking over a sixth of the economy with Obamacare did not help. All right, pretty much nationalizing a portion of the health insurance market, and saying, because I'm unclear as to why we haven't applied his solution to other problems. His solution to people not having health insurance was to mandate people have health insurance or they get fined. So I'm like, okay, well, by that logic, we solved homelessness. Buy a fucking house or you'll get fined. Okay, it's that easy. So no, Obama is yesterday's news, man. He's being very disingenuous.
But how do we defend it with I mean, like, granted, look, I mean, the past 12 of the past 16 years have been all run by Democrats or something like that. I don't want to cut you off, but look, I'm not interested in defending. Okay, you yourself said earlier we gotta get out of that mode. Yeah, I get it.
I'm in the mode of offending. Okay, basically, fuck you. I'm voting for Trump. All right, I'm not
I
trying
like
to
it.
explain to you why I'm doing this. This is my fucking vote. All right, you go do what you want to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and that's where I'm at now. I'm not trying to reason with unreasonable people.
So let me ask: Does the president do presidential policies? When we look at Obama's presidency over 8 years, Trump's presidency over 4 years, Biden's presidency over the past 3.5 years, three and a quarter years, do their policies have an immediate effect, or do these things take more time to develop?
Both. It's everything. Like that, dude. You get those. That's the trick. Like this touches on a thing. This is the trick that they use in politics. This is what Kamala Harris is trying to do right now. They're trying to convince you that there's some delineation between the present and the future. There's not. What you do now affects you now and tomorrow. Yes, if it creates $10 trillion in debt down the road, it's terrible, even if it fixes things now. But if it messes everything up now so that down the road you have something better, maybe that's worth it, right? Like there's always a metric, but it's never a snapshot in time where it's like, oh, okay, you have a policy that only affects you. Everything has a long-term and a short-term effect. I mean, that's
when you look at day one of the Biden presidency. I mean,
they roll back all this stuff that Trump did, and look how everything's all foobarred now because of it.
But it didn't take long. Those things didn't take long.
But that's because he didn't legislate things. He did it with the stroke of a pen instead of the way the founders want. I mean, our government runs the wrong way now. All of the presidents are guilty of it. They use EO to pass things they can't get through Congress. That's a whole nother discussion.
Economically speaking, if you look at Trump's cumulative inflation, 8.5% for the 4 years, right? In 3.5 years, Biden's cumulative inflation is 21%. Now, the reason for that is because Biden not only came off of COVID spending, but he also is spending like crazy on this thing in Ukraine. They just sent this guy away from here with another multi-billion-dollar package, okay? Not to mention what we're doing in terms of the Middle East, okay? We're pumping money into both sides of that, so that causes inflation. The more money you put out there on the street in terms of fiscal policy, that drives inflation. And that proof is in the pudding, okay? So you just take the inflation rate, for example. Obama didn't have a damn thing to do with that 8.5%, okay? Your groceries are more expensive because of Joseph Robinette Biden and Kamala Harris.
And also understand that in 2008, of course, the economy could only go up. I mean, you couldn't get worse.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't. What can you really say about? Hey, he helped the economy. Really?
No, well, he spent trillions of dollars to do it. He created an inflationary cycle that started then too, right? Like when he was done, gas was not cheap. That was him. That's not Bush's gas economy. That's Obama's gas economy. I mean, he screwed up our energy independence that it made Trump with a couple of waves of the pen look like a superhero.
That's true.
Again, that's what I mean. There's no just here and now. Everything is part of a short and long-term picture, and especially with the politics of what the president is and isn't responsible for. Right.
And look, one real quick thing about 2008. Remember, he came up with that money and gave it to the banks. And the banks, what did they do? They were under pressure with all of those bad loans, right? So instead of satisfying the loans, which I thought that money, that should have been the first stimulus to the people who were underwater. If you really wanted to save the economy, send it to those homeowners, okay? And then you solve the problem. Instead, he gave it to the banks, and they went on a foreclosure spree. So that was like, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
All right, so I do want to kind of start wrapping up here, and I want to play this Lord Jamar clip because I had asked a question just a while ago: were you voting for Kamala or voting for Trump or against Kamala? And I thought this clip from Lord Jamar actually kind of like puts a little point of emphasis on that point about why it's important. I think we made some great points here, this evening on why we should be voting against Kamala. But let's listen to what Lord Jamar has to say. And I actually want to play this whole thing, and we'll get some final thoughts and get out of here. So let's go ahead and roll this clip real quick.
Trump is always Trump. I don't give a if you like him or not. He's always him. If he says he's gonna say some arrogant yup, off the cuff, yup, he does do that. But this motherfucker's a smart businessman, and I hate the people that say, "Oh, he's been bankrupt this many times." That's what smart businessmen do. First of all companies are not made to last. Some companies are made to be disposable, but y'all don't know that because you're not business people like that. You don't know, first of all, and people that are successful, you know how many failures they've had in order to be successful? Like, all your failures prep you for your success. Like, how are you gonna say this man's a failure and he became the president of the fucking United States after having bankruptcies and all this type of shit? Like, no, that's what I call resilience, okay? That's what I call resiliency. Somebody that doesn't take no for an answer, despite seeming like the cloud is over you, they still find a silver lining and know how to spin that shit in order to bounce back like a fucking G. That's the type of fucking we need in a fucking leader of this fucking country. Not this cackling broad who's gonna fucking laugh, at the wrong fucking or something is visibly, she has no poker face. Like, she'd be in there with heads of state and be immediate, just like a dilly broad would do. I'm sorry, girls like her might be fun to knock off and shit like that, but as far as leading some shit, she can't lead nothing for me. She can't lead, I wouldn't let her lead the blind. Like, I'm not fucking with her.
How you feel about her saying that she watches her collard greens in a bathtub?
This is her, again, being disingenuous. First of all, black people don't wash no damn greens in no tub. You dirty ass dog. How unsanitary are you to be washing collard greens in a tub and thinking that makes you more relatable? See, that's how out of touch she is, how stupid she is. She thought she was giving a relatable story to make her seem black. Oh, yeah. Oh, they want me to cook their collard greens. They bring me all their collard greens in the neighborhood. I had so many greens, I had to wash them in the tub, Just like she was in the, you better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. She talking all black, but then when she get in front of the Spanish people, they said, "I love you, Kamala." She said, "I love you too. I love you too." Then when she gets in front of the white people, you better thank a union member for everything that you have, because, union members are very, they're part of the economy. Like, who are you? Who are you?
All right, guys. I think that summed up pretty much everything we talked about tonight. CT, I want to get some of your final thoughts on this, man.
Lord Jamar told no lies. I totally agree with everything he said. I've been saying it for years about this woman. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she is. I was one of the first people to call out her alcoholism, possible drug usage.
She is from San Francisco. Come on.
Yeah, I was one of the first ones who called it out, saying that chick isn't black. And people questioned me years ago, why does it matter? Well, it does matter to a degree, man. You have so many people that pretty much make a mockery and play on the emotions of the ignorance of a lot of blacks. I got to admit that, man. And just because you went to an HBCU, just because you pledged a black sorority does not mean you are black. And he is correct, man. All that code switching. Just be yourself. Trump goes into a black barbershop. He's himself. I'll even say Obama to a degree. Obama to a degree, he kind of gets into the hip hop mode, but he still is himself. Even though he's a Democrat. So Kamala just reminds me of that girl in the neighborhood who just lies about everything, And that's it, man. Yeah. Shout out to Lord Jamar.
Right on. Gimpy, your final thoughts, man.
He's right. I mean, dude, like I said at the end of Chaotic Show, if you vote for Kamala, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, but what about the rest of us?
Dude, of course. The woman is the fakest woman ever. I mean, she's the epitome of failing upwards. Literally got her first job by being the side chick. Literally. Like, people don't, they complain about what Trump is. You're racing to vote for the side chick. It's just like, it's mind-boggling to me. I'm sorry. Like,
the side chick's black, man. I mean, come on.
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Allegedly.
Dude, did you see what Candace came out with now? Now she has the proof that the picture in the book isn't her grandmother.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, if that's what's going behind you, you're disingenuous. No one should vote for someone you wouldn't trust to watch your kid. I mean, I would leave my kid with Trump. He might try and sell him, but beyond that, he'd be okay. He's good with kids. Look, his kids like him. His kids are not making themselves public nuisances, even the one that's a cokehead. I mean, they're all useful. None of them are Hunter Biden, and none of them are Kamala's stepkids. I'm sorry. Is that been the final ball for you, bro?
No, you're good, man. Yeah, Reason. You
Yeah,
saw the Lord Jamar clip, man. How final thoughts, man? What are you thinking, man?
Final thoughts is, yes, he's 100% correct. I was more thinking about, believe it or not, how my brain works. I was thinking about the production of that clip. I'm sitting here like, I'm listening to the music. I'm like, that's eerily haunting. And I'm thinking the reason that that's probably playing is because of how the aspect of fear works. And everything he's saying, subconsciously, you're getting something fearful. So I'm sitting here like, oh, that was a real nice touch on that, quite frankly. But yeah, 100%. The chick is Spanish when she's around Spanish people. You should. They give you clothes. They give you food. They give you. You should thank them for this. And I mean, yeah. I appreciate the fact that Trump doesn't change. Like, I appreciate that. You know what you're getting when you're dealing with Trump. You know what you're getting. You like him or you hate him, but you know what you're getting. This chick just seems like someone that would just, cook collard greens in a bathtub. Like, she seems like that kind of, I mean,
she seems like she would.
She just seems like she'd do something like that. And yes, I mean,
man.
Candace is a pit bull. Candace found out somebody who knew who this barrel person was. I mean, that was Candace is a pit bull. Like, there is too many lies, man.
I mean, I do wonder if Kamala were to win, if it would still be Trump's fault 4 years from now.
Oh, everything is going to be Trump. Dude, till he's dead and buried, it's going to be Trump and MAGA. It was George W. Bush's fault before. Like, dude, this is the same song. Mitt Romney was going to throw you back in chains, boy.
Yeah.
Come on, what planet do you... Like, the grift is old. It is not new. And that the fact that everyone's goddamn idiot and still falling for it, that's all on you people. Like, all of you out there in YouTube land, if you are falling for this grift out there, that's on you. That's not on any of us up here talking. You're the ones who go cast your ballot for this bimbo who couldn't... Dude, she couldn't find herself out of a wet paper bag. Do you want her there when missiles are inbound?
No, I can't say that I would. Tyrone, you saw the Lord Jamar. Final thoughts, man.
Well, one of the things is we're seeing in this is a unique election because Trump's a businessman. He's done things in the real world. He's built buildings. Okay. Golf courses, all kinds of, businesses. And it's true. Some of them have failed. But that's the price of success up against someone who has won popularity contest. Okay. Kamala Harris has never done, she never built anything, right? She persecuted people in the DA's office and in the Attorney General's office. And I understand as a law enforcement officer, yeah, you got to prosecute people. I get that. I'm not begrudging her for that. But if you look at what she did to parents of truant children, hey, wow, many of whom were poor, okay, lost jobs, incarcerated. This woman is evil, and she's never done anything, and that's a bad recipe for the CEO of a multi-trillion-dollar corporation.
Yeah, man. I think that, man. I think that wraps it up, man. But we do have to be on the offense. Just from here on out, man. We can no longer just try to cater and kowtow to the attacks of where you're being misogynist, you're being how can you support a racist? We can't allow those arguments to deter from speaking out, standing up, and just be an example of what you believe. I've been going through Proverbs recently, and just it's the book of wisdom in the Old Testament, and there's no shortage of passages that talk about where people who are stuck in their folly, it leads to destruction. And if you're not one to seek wisdom and seek the truth, right? You're just as bad, just as evil, as anyone. So I'll encourage everyone to always seek the truth, stand up, for what's right, and let's go ahead and win this thing in November. But I also say that Black men want the same thing anybody else want. We want to protect our families. We want to be able to move up economically. We want our kids to be able to get an education. We want to build legacy and generational wealth for our families. And we don't want to just be given breadcrumbs to keep us comfortable just for the time being. So, you continue to get the sympathy vote from people. So we're going to leave it at that, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The Just the Guys podcast. We're here on Thursdays at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, we're having the Informed Voters Power, 10 o'clock. So, Informed Voters Power Series. I said voters that time, right? Informed Voters Power Series right here in Baltimore. Get your tickets. Just, we're less than 24 hours away. And it's going to be an incredible event. So get your tickets now.
Yes.
And also check out all the other all the other Metro Conservative Media channels, Poppin' Politics, us here, Just the Guys, All American Talk, KJ the Christian Conservative, guys. We're building a movement, and we're on the attack now, guys. And we're gonna make this country great. We're gonna make our communities great. We'll make our households great. So, peace out, guys.